Hello everyone, welcome back. So in today's video, we're going to talk about what congruent triangles are all about and how do you prove if two triangles are congruent. Now, for those of you that don't know what congruent means, congruent basically means exactly the same. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to prove that two triangles are exactly the same. I hope that makes sense. Now, there's going to be 4 congruent triangle proofs that you need to know to show that two triangles are exactly the same. And I'm just going to quickly explain to you why there's 4 reasons. So as you can see, I'm just going to draw 2 triangles. Right. Now, if we have 2 triangles, can we say that these 2 triangles are equal? Well, no, we can't, because we don't know how long the sides are and how big the angles are. Now, you might think that to prove 2 triangles are equal, you need to show that the sides are equal. Right, so the 2 sides, actually all the sides are equal. And say all the angles, so say if this is x, this is also x, this is y, it's also y, this is z, also z, right? So from these 2 triangles, you probably think that they're going to be equal because all the angles are equal and all the sides are equal. But in reality, you don't actually need to know all these 6 properties to show that 2 triangles are equal. You only just need to know 3. And the 4 proofs that you're going to learn today, or you may have already learned, as you can see here, will show you, well, it's not show you, but will be the enough information to show that 2 triangles are equal. And the first one is going to be SSS. So what that means is, just by knowing that the 3 sides of the 2 triangles are equal, that's enough to say those 2 triangles are exactly the same. What that means is the angles are equal and the sides are equal, right? So you just have to show the 3 sides, and that's all you need to do. So 2 triangles are congruent, in other words, exactly the same, if 3 sides of one triangle are equal to 3 sides of the other. So that's one way. Another way is SAS. So that means if you can show that 2 sides are equal and the included angle, so pay special attention to this part because a lot of students, they tend to forget this. The angle needs to be included between the 2 sides. So if you have 2 triangles that look like this, for example. So you have 2 sides that are equal, and then say if this angle is equal to this angle, right? These 2 triangles are not congruent because the angle needs to be in between the 2 sides. So if you have 2 triangles with 2 sides and one included angle that are equal, then these 2 triangles are exactly the same. What that means is, so I can say that, let me just copy this to show you what it exactly means. So at the moment, we know that 2 sides are equal and the included angle are equal. Once we've proven that those 2 triangles are congruent, then we can say that this side is also equal to this side. And we can say that this angle is also equal to this angle. And this angle equals to this angle. Because we've proven that these 2 triangles are congruent, right? So that's a key reason to proving why 2 triangles are congruent, because then you can just show that the other sides, which are not shown in the diagram, are equal. Okay. Next one is AAS. So that means if you can prove that 2 angles and the matching side are equal, so as you can see, 2 angles and a matching side are equal, that means they're congruent as well. And remember, the side needs to be matching, right? So as you can see, there's 2 angles and the side is in between the 2 angles. So if I have 2 angles and one side here, and 2 angles and one side there, that's equal. These 2 triangles are not congruent. The side needs to be matching. Okay, so that's the third one. And the last one, well, the last one you probably already know because you may have learned this in year 8, is right angle hypotenuse side. So 2 right angle triangles are congruent if the hypotenuse of one side of one right angle triangle is equal to the hypotenuse and one side of the other. So that means you need a right angle, you need a hypotenuse to be equal, and a side. Okay, so that's the last one. And just remember, just because you see a right angle, it does not mean that it has to be the RHS. So I'm just going to give you an example where you have a right angle, but it's not her RHS. So I'll show you. So you have 2 triangles, right? They both have a right angle. This side is equal to, say, that side. This side is equal to that side. Now, are these 2 triangles congruent? Well, yes, they are. But is the reasoning the RHS? No, it's not, because we have a right angle, we don't have a hypotenuse, and we have two sides. So what these two triangles are is actually SAS, because we have two sides that are equal and an angle that's in between them that's equal. Okay, so let's just go through some worked examples. Now, let's just show how this works. And I'm going to write my own reasoning. So make sure you pay attention to what's happening here and not what's happening there. So the question asks you, say, prove that triangle ABC is congruent to triangle ADC. So triangle ABC is congruent to triangle EDC. All right. So I'll show you how it's done. Now, when they ask you questions like this, what I recommend is this. So I recommend this 5-line step. Now, in the first line, you write the introduction. So just like in English, you write in triangle ABC and triangle EDC. Now here you're allowed to write the triangle symbol. This is your step 1. And then your next 3 steps are basically trying to find the properties that will lead to your congruence proof. So for example, we need to find maybe some angles that are similar or some sides that are similar so that we know what's the final reason, okay? So we can say that in triangle ABC and the EDC, we can say that this angle is equal to this angle, right? Because of what? Alternate angles. So now, as you can see, you need to know how to write your reasoning because you need it to do this. So we can say angle BAC is equal to angle what? CED, right? And what's the reasoning? Well, alternate angles. Make sure you write the angles, and you have to write the parallel lines. So AB is parallel to DE, right? So that's your first reasoning. Okay, so what else do you know? Well, you also know that AB is equal to DE, right? Yeah, because you see how it's got the 2 vertical lines. So you can say AB is equal to DE. And what's the reason for that? Well, because it's already given to you, because they have the 2 lines, you can just write given, because it's it is given. So, and then the last step, well, what else can we do? Well, so we can say that this angle is equal to this angle, right? Because of what? Vertically opposite angles. So you can say angle ACB is equal to angle DCE. And the reason for that is vertically opposite angles. Okay, now, once we've written our 3 steps, so this is so I should tell you what. This is step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. So now we just need our final step. Because remember, in all congruence proof, there are 5 steps. First step, introduce the 2 triangles. The next 3 steps, you have to find the angles or sides from the 2 triangles. And the last step, you have to show that they're congruent using one of the 4 reasons. So which reason should we use? So we found 2 angles and a side, right? So then you can just say, therefore, triangle. Now make sure you write the triangles in the same way as the beginning. ABC is congruent. Congruent is a triple the equal sign to triangle EDC. And you have to write the reason here. Now you don't need to write the full word. You can just write the initials. So you have 2 angles and 1 side. So then it's going to be AS. And that's how you complete a congruence proof. You just remember the 5 steps. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. First step, introduce the 2 triangles. The next 3 steps, give the reasonings. So it should be 3 because there's no congruence proof that only has 2 reasons. As you can see, there's the SAS, that's 3 things. RHS, that's 3 things. SSS, that's 3 things. And AAS, that's 3 things. So there should always be 3 lines of reason here. And then the last step, you need to say they're congruent. So this is the concluding statement. And you have to give a reason here. All right. So let's do the next question. So let's take a look. Prove that triangle ABC is congruent to triangle BAD. And hence that AD is equal to BC. Okay. So let's just copy this. All right. So let's just do the first part first, okay? So the first part just says, prove that those 2 triangles are congruent, okay? So the ABC and BAD. So ABC. So then we need to write in triangle ABC. ABC and triangle BAD. So this is our step 1. Now we need to find the things that are equal. So as you can see in the diagram, it already tells us some things that are equal. As you can see, there's a dot for this angle and this angle, and there's an X for this angle and this angle. So that means these two angles are going to be equal, right? So we can say that angle, so BAC is equal to angle what? ABC, right? And the reason for this is very clear, because it's given to you. We just say given. The next one, well, we can say that angle ADB, right, is equal to angle ACB. And that's also given, right? Okay, so now we found two angles that are equal. So the last one, it should be a side, right? Because we've already found two angles. And the only reasoning from the 4 congruence proof that has the angles is what? AS. So then it has to be a side. So from these two triangles, the ABC, so ABC, and triangle BAD, now which side do you think should be the equal? Well, as you can see, the side AB, that's going to be common to both triangles, right? So then we can just say AB is common. That means this side, the AB, is part of both triangles, right? So if it's part of both triangles, then of course it's going to be equal, right? So that means this is our third line of reasoning, and then we can just write our conclusion. So therefore, triangle ABC, why do I keep writing B first? ABC is congruent to triangle BAD. And the reason, well, it's going to be the same as the previous question. We have two angles and one side, right? So AAS. So this is your step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5. Now, this question has an extra part to it. It says, and hence, show that AD is equal to BC. So, now, if you're familiar with these questions, you will know that once you've proven that two triangles are congruent, then you can say that all sides of triangle ABC are equal to all sides of triangle BAD, right? Because they're congruent, that means all the matching sides. So when I say the matching sides, what I mean is, say, side AD and side BC are her matching sides, right? So if you still remember from before, if I have two triangles, say this is ABC, this is DEF. And say if these two triangles were congruent, okay? So I didn't prove it, but I'm just saying they are. So then what the matching sides are this. So AB is her matching to DE, BC is matching to EF, and AC is matching to DF. And angle BAC is matching to angle the EDF, angle the ABC is matching to angle DEF, and angle BCA is matching to angle EFD, right? So basically, once we prove that two triangles are equal, all the matching sides and angles are equal. So then what we can write is this. So I'm just going to rub this out. So we can just say that AD is equal to BC, and the reason for that is matching sides of congruent triangles. So in these kind of questions, what they can ask you is also to prove that two sides are equal, and you need to show that they're congruent first before saying this side equals to this side, because matching sides of congruent triangles. So remember how I said earlier, where when you want to prove two triangles are congruent, you only need to know 3 things. But once you know those 3 things, then you know that all the other sides. So if I prove that those two triangles are congruent, say because of SSS, right? So these two triangles are congruent because of side, side, side. Now, once I prove these two triangles are congruent, because they're congruent, then I can say that these two angles are equal because they are the matching angles of congruent triangles. I can say that these two angles are equal because I've proven that they're congruent already. So that's the powerful result behind proving that triangles are congruent. Okay, so I'm just going to go through some of the exercises that I'll be giving you for homework. So let's take a look. So it says, For each pair of congruent triangles state which test can be applied using the given information. Okay, so this shouldn't be too hard. As you can see that the first one is probably going to be SSS because all three sides, you can find three sides that are equal, right? So I'm not going to go through too much detailing with this. And in question B, they're very nice because they actually helps you scaffold the reasoning behind each. Okay, so you can just, so this is like a simplified version of what I did here, where they kind of guide you to prove that two triangles are congruent. And then you can do the same for 3, 4, 5, and 6. And now in part C, they ask you to prove that two triangles are congruent. So you got to find 3 reasons using geometry to show that. Okay. All right. So that's it for today. I hope you've enjoyed the lesson and learned a lot about congruence. I'll see you next time.